Get ready for the dictation. On the count of 3, 2, 1, start. The Delhi riots of 2020 were a series of communal clashes that occurred in the northeast region of Delhi in February 2020. The riots claimed the lives of over 50 people and injured hundreds more. The riots were primarily between two communities, the Hindus and the Muslims, and were the deadliest communal violence to occur in India since the Gujarat riots of 2002. The immediate cause of the riots was a protest against the Citizenship Amendment Act (CAA), which was passed by the Indian Parliament in December 2019. The CAA provides a path to Indian citizenship for non-Muslim immigrants from Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh. The protests against the CAA had been ongoing across India, and tensions had been high in Delhi due to the government's crackdown on the protests. The riots began on 23rd February 2020 when a group of pro-CAA supporters, allegedly led by a local leader of the ruling Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP), attacked a group of anti-CAA protesters in northeast Delhi. The violence quickly escalated, with both Hindu and Muslim mobs attacking each other's neighborhoods, resulting in widespread destruction of property and loss of life. The Delhi police were criticized for their handling of the riots, with many accusing them of not doing enough to control the violence. The police were also accused of being biased towards the Hindu mobs and of targeting Muslim residents in their crackdown. The Delhi government, which is led by the Aam Aadmi Party, was also criticized for its handling of the situation. The riots were condemned by the international community, with the United Nations expressing concern over the violence and calling on the Indian government to ensure the safety of all citizens. Many human rights organizations also criticized the Indian government for failing to protect the rights of its citizens, particularly the Muslim minority. In the aftermath of the riots, there have been calls for an independent investigation into the violence, with many demanding that those responsible for the violence be held accountable. The Indian government has also faced criticism for its handling of the protests against the CAA, with many arguing that the law is discriminatory and goes against India's secular values. The Delhi riots of 2020 were a tragic reminder of the deep-seated communal tensions that exist in India. The violence highlights the need for greater efforts to promote communal harmony and tolerance in India. It is crucial that the Indian government takes steps to address the underlying causes of the riots, including discrimination and marginalization of minority communities, and takes concrete measures to ensure that such violence does not occur again in the future. The Delhi riots have sparked a national conversation about the state of communal relations in India. Many have pointed to the growing polarization and divisiveness in Indian society, which has been fueled by the rise of right-wing nationalism and the government's focus on majoritarianism. The riots have also highlighted the importance of freedom of speech and expression and the need for a tolerant and inclusive society. One of the key issues that the riots have raised is the discrimination and marginalization of minority communities in India. The Citizenship Amendment Act, which was the immediate trigger for the riots has been criticized for discriminating against Muslims and for undermining India's secular values. The law has also been seen as a part of the government's broader agenda of promoting majoritarianism and marginalizing minority communities. The riots have also exposed the fault lines in India's law enforcement and justice system. There have been allegations of police bias against Muslim residents, and many have criticized the government's handling of the situation. The Delhi High Court has also raised concerns about the role of the police in the riots and has called for an independent investigation. The riots have also highlighted the importance of freedom of speech and expression in a democratic society. The government's crackdown on the anti-CAA protests, which were a peaceful expression of dissent, has been seen as an attack on the fundamental rights of citizens. The government's response to the protests has also been criticized for being heavy-handed and for not engaging in a constructive dialogue with the protesters. In the aftermath of the riots, there have been calls for greater efforts to promote communal harmony and tolerance in India. Many have called on the government to take concrete steps to address the underlying causes of the violence, including discrimination and marginalization of minority communities. There have also been calls for an independent investigation into the riots and for those responsible for the violence to be held accountable. The riots have also raised questions about the role of the media in promoting communal harmony and tolerance. Some media outlets have been accused of being biased and of fueling communal tensions. There have been calls for greater self-regulation in the media and for journalists to adhere to ethical standards in their reporting. In conclusion, the Delhi riots of 2020 were a tragic reminder of the communal tensions that exist in India. The riots have highlighted the importance of promoting communal harmony and tolerance and the need for the government to take concrete steps to address discrimination and marginalization of minority communities. The riots have also raised questions about the role of the media in promoting a tolerant and inclusive society. It is crucial that all stakeholders work together to promote unity and harmony in India and to ensure that such violence does not occur again in the future.